Hello and welcome to the 5-Minute Sound Designer, where I show you a cool new sound design tool, concept, or technique in about 5 minutes or less. And today I'm going to be sharing the idea of subtractive synthesis with you, really basic type of synthesizer that you'll run into quite a lot. So what I have here is a synthesizer known as the Tyrell N6, and you can see the name in this bottom corner here. And this is totally free. This is a synthesizer that works in any DAW except Reason, which is a special case, and is completely, utterly, totally free. And I'll put download links in the description below, or you could just Google for it and find it really easily. So this is a synthesizer that works off of a principle known as subtractive synthesis. And basically what that means is that we have an oscillator, also known just as a basic sound source, and that sound source is then filtered through this kind of filter section here, and it subtracts certain partials and accentuates others, and thus creates a unique sound at the end. So it subtracts certain partials of the original sound, thus subtractive synthesis. That's how a lot of synth sounds are made. It's one of the most popular types of synthesis out there. There's many others. This is one of the most popular. So every subtractive synthesizer looks a little bit different, but we're going to be working with this one just for the purposes of this video. There are also things like Massive or ES2 and countless others. So how this works is we have two waveforms, two oscillators, and we can change the shape of each one. This first one allows us to determine the shape of oscillator 1, so we can do sine wave, triangle wave, sawtooth wave, square wave, whatever we want, and somewhere in between too, depending on how we turn this knob. We also have shape 2, which allows us to do sine wave all the way to this square wave down here, and again, stuff in between as well. And we can also tune and detune each oscillator, but we won't be going too in depth into that. That's beyond the scope of a 5-ish minute video. And basically what we can do here is then change the volume of each of our sound sources, each of our oscillators, and then subtract the sound using this cutoff slider here. And I'm just going to play a note and hold it down and play with this cutoff slider, and you'll know what I'm talking about as soon as you hear that sound. So we're subtracting certain partials of the sound to change the timbre of that synth. And of course we can change the waveform, and I'll do that right now. We can detune it. And a whole bunch of other stuff. We can play with vibrato and envelopes and all that sort of good stuff. This is too beyond the scope of this video, but I just want to give you an idea of the basic synthesizers. We'll be doing more on the other types shortly. So this is kind of a run through of subtractive synthesizers. You can also take this resonance slider and basically accentuate a certain group of frequencies near the cutoff. And when you kind of combine different shapes, different tunings, different cutoff, different resonances and filters and all sorts of stuff, you can get some really interesting sounds. So just to play a random preset for you. So by learning how these things work, you can do quite a bit of musical and non-musical sound effects and sound design. You can do a lot of cool stuff. So while working with samples is great, it can be extremely powerful to start working with synthesizers as well. And this is a great starting point. So that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did like it, of course, do all the YouTube things that everyone tells you to do. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And also subscribe to my newsletter, where I send out weekly tips on how to get a career in the video game industry, as well as music and sound design tips as well. And if you haven't seen it yet, watch my TED Talk on video game music, where I basically espouse the incredibleness of video game music to a room full of thousands of people. So feel free to watch that, subscribe to the newsletter, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks so much.